Honorable Minister of Public Service and Administrative Reforms, Honorable Ministers, Members of Parliament, Excellency the High Commissioner of India, distinguished guests. I'm greatly honored to say a few words on this very special occasion marking the 101st birth anniversary of late Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, one of the greatest statesmen, leader, and political stalwart which India has produced. Atal Bihari Vajpayee is a popular figure in Mauritius and will remain so for generations. Lucky are those who have had the singular honor of knowing him from very close quarters and who look up to him as an inspiration and a role model. We have the privilege of welcoming him here to our shores on various occasions and capacities as Foreign Minister, as Leader of the Opposition, and as Prime Minister. He is a household name in Mauritius, and he had a very close and special relationship with the father of the nation, Sir Navinchandra Ramgoolam, whom he fondly referred to as Chacha, just as all Mauritians affectionately did. You know, the brotherly bond between SSR and Atal Bihari Vajpayee was such that when Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee attended the independence celebrations, as the Honorable Minister referred to it, on the 12th of March 1978, he was the External Affairs Minister of India. So SSR was told that according to protocol, it is the Foreign Minister of Mauritius who should welcome him at the airport. SSR insisted, I won't say what he said, but he insisted that he will ignore protocolar advice and he will himself welcome him at the airport. Such was the bond between the two men. On a more personal note, I remember at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in South Africa in 1999, when we were discussing, the question of suspending Pakistan had arisen because General Musharraf had just engineered a coup d'etat. Prime Minister Blair, the UK Prime Minister, asked to speak, and he made a plea that we should not suspend Pakistan as the Commonwealth rules dictate. He said we should engage in dialogue, try to bring the general back to organizing elections, especially because Pakistan is a nuclear power. I asked to speak after Prime Minister Blair, whom I knew very well. But I think he was surprised because I said, well, this makes a joke of the Commonwealth rules. Why do we have rules if we're going to depart from the rules? And not only that, it would encourage other coup d'etat in different countries. And I therefore said, what should we do, Prime Minister Blair? Tear the Commonwealth rules now and throw them. Because rules are rules. And I asked for a vote, because normally in the Commonwealth Conference, things are done by consensus. I said, no, let's have a vote. And I remember President Obasanjo of Nigeria. He supported my position. And he said, in my own country, that in Nigeria, I was thrown into jail by coup d'etat. Not by coup d'etat, but he was thrown into jail. And they wanted to hang him because he was in the opposition. He said if there were no Commonwealth rules adhered to, I would have been hanged, I wouldn't have been here. So I can tell you a majority voted for suspension. And after that, we were breaking, I think, for tea. And I won't name him, a prime minister from a Caribbean country. He came up to Atal Bihari Vajpayee and he said, "But Prime Minister, you didn't say a word about this issue." You know what Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee did? I was not far from him, he called me. He held my hand and he told the Prime Minister, "I did not have to say anything because India had enough sons to defend the honor. That is why I kept quiet." This is what he said. I'm truly privileged to have been able to nurture this relationship with Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee. I must tell you, when Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee passed away on the 16th of August 2018, this is what Sri Narendra Modi wrote, and I quote. He said, "In times of turbulence and disruption, a nation is blessed to have a leader who rises to become the moral compass and guiding spirit, providing vision, cohesion, and direction to his people. And in such a moment at the turn of the century, India found one in Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who was gifted in spirit, heart, and mind," unquote. You know, I must tell you, one of my great regrets, it will be an eternal regret, is that when Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee passed away, I was prevented from traveling to attend his funeral because there were 11 fake charges against me. I regret not having been able to attend his funeral. But every time I go to India, I go to his samadhi and put a wreath there. Many a glowing and deserving tribute have been paid to this towering figure. And dear not only by his fellow Indians, but to the entire world. Again, in the words of Prime Minister Modi, and I quote, he said, "It was Atalji who prepared the foundations of an India that is ready to take on the mantle of global leadership in the 21st century." This coming 25th December will mark his 101st birthday. This momentous occasion, not only for the people of India, but for the entire Indian diaspora and people of Indian origin the world over, is an opportune moment to reflect on certain facets of his legacy. For here was a man whose fearsome weapon was the word, not the sword. Yet he had the rare gift of combining an image of soft-spokenness and strength. He believed in peace as staunchly as he believed in being ready to defend the territorial integrity of India. When he tested the first nuclear weapon test, it was in 1998, an act, I must tell you, because this was against the treaty, I refuse to condemn that act. He believed in progress not through conflict, but through compassion, cooperation, and constructive dialogue. One should recall here his magnanimous gesture when he inaugurated the Lahore bus service in his quest for good neighborly relations with Pakistan. And heed his famous warning, and I quote, he said, "We are unnecessarily wasting our precious resources in wars. If we must wage war, we have to do it on unemployment, disease, poverty, and backwardness." For him, the real fight, the real battle, was always for human dignity, opportunity, and social upliftment. Today, we celebrate not just a former Prime Minister of India, but a deeply humane leader, a revered poet. We shared this with Sir Siv Sagar. So Sisango was about 1 week or 1.5 weeks before he died. I was going to London. He said, "Can you find this book for me?" It was a book of poems by Philip Larkin, 1 week before he dies. There are certain things that only poets can say. He was distinguished also by his extraordinary gift of oratory. His speeches had rhythm, had cadence, and yet a single pause in his intervention would command complete silence. Indeed, his was the voice of hope for generations. It is fitting that today we are gathered here in the very building of leadership training that we, in our modest way, are perpetuating his legacy. I've named after him the Atal Bihari Vajpayee Institute of Public Service and Innovation, built under India-Mauritius cooperation, and I thank the government of India for this. It stands as a powerful symbol of what Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee cherished: governance rooted in service, cooperation across borders, and capacity building for the future. This edifice is indeed a concrete example of how the legacy of a leader can help shape another nation's future. It is very appropriate, therefore, that a biopic has been made to commemorate his life and his achievements. It is no ordinary feat for a personality like him, with the values and principles that guided him throughout his life, is readily recognized by even his political adversaries. I remember when he lost the election, which he was not supposed to lose. The first thing that Prime Minister Manmohan Singh did was go to his house and garland him with a big wreath of flowers. That's what they did. This is how a democracy should function. Here they throw you in jail. It is no coincidence that he was chosen to lead many an official Indian delegation to the United Nations organizations, while, as His Excellency High Commissioner of India just said, while he was leading the delegation while he was leader of the opposition, not only to defend the cause of India, but to foster his vision of a just and peaceful global environment. Distinguished guests, it is fitting that as we are here at an institute of public service, bearing the name of such an eminent and outstanding public servant as Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, to remind people, especially our youth, that there is no higher vocation than public service, as Honorable Minister Panchad just said. There is no higher vocation. Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee had dedicated his whole life to serve others in the public arena, with all the risks, the trial and tribulations that it entails. As Hegel reminded us, they may all be called heroes, inasmuch as they have derived the purposes and the vocation not from the calm, regular course of things, sanctioned by the existing order, but from a concealed fount, from that inner spirit still hidden beneath the surface, which impinges on the outer world as on a shell and bursts into pieces. Such were Alexander, Caesar, Napoleon, world historical men. The heroes of an epoch, they must therefore be recognized as clear and sighted ones. Their deeds, their words are the best of their time. Such men and women appear but rarely on the world stage. His very name, Atal, translates into steadfast or firm, symbolizing strong resolve, courage, and stability. Allow me therefore to end with this short tribute to this great son of India by quoting an extract from one of his poems, translated by Mr. Pavan Verma. It is his own poem called Resolve. And I quote, "Today, when all our values are at stake and a sense dense darkness threatens to devour all the light of our lives, we must reiterate our resolve to live, to fight for, and if necessary, to die for the goal. In this moment of ordeal by fire, like us, like Arjuna, proclaim, we will not cower, nor shall we quit. We have to go on. Ladies and gentlemen, let us sit back and relive through this film the life of a stalwart, a hero, a revered son of India, and a great son and friend of Mauritius." Thank you.